Hi, it's me, Chio. Welcome. This is the holiday period, so let's start today's announcement. My book, whose name I still shall not disclose, is officially in the hands of an editor. That's right, I'm finally in the professional process of this whole book writing experience. Now, back to the reason for this video. This video is all about my personal beta reading process. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to start with the bad, have a laugh or a cry at the ugly, then enjoy the good. To me, the bad is any instance that didn't do anything to affect my schedule or my blood pressure, but also didn't help me. Basically, I already knew I wanted to have 5 beta readers, maybe 6 if I found someone else I wanted to work with. So a few months ago, I sent out announcements, found the readers I liked, the ones that I knew could do the work, and who had time available for me within the time I chose to do my beta reading. Now, because of personal problems, which I have talked about in the past already, I had to reschedule the whole process. This meant that I would be losing a few of my beta readers because their time schedule would change. So to fix this issue, I went on different social media platforms that I use, like Twitter and Instagram, and I sent out messages to ask readers who are interested to help me beta read my book. I got a lot of responses. The bad with this whole scenario was that majority of the responses I got were from people who either didn't read or didn't read fantasy as I requested. I mean, I'm grateful that you're interested in my work and interested in reading in the first place, but you can't start learning how to read in a particular genre or in general through the beta reading process. It's going to affect the writer. If you really want to start reading, you could go to a bookstore or online and buy a book and get accustomed to that kind of writing before you get into the process of beta reading. If I had gone along with these particular requests, I would have had a problem where they would either waste time or they won't give me helpful feedback. And if I listened to that feedback, I could have turned a good book into a not so great book that readers would probably mark as DNF. And I definitely don't want that. And if you're a nice person, you wouldn't want that for me or any other writer. So I just want to advise people out there that if you're hoping to start reading or start reading in a particular genre, do not ask to beta read a book, because that is when the book will have so many flaws that you might not even appreciate that genre. And also because you're not experienced in this type of work, you're going to give the writer poor feedback that would hurt their craft. So please do not beta read if you do not read. Another bad experience I had was that I found someone who I thought was going to work out, and this person showed interest in my book, my schedule, and understood the importance of the whole process. So luckily, I started with sample reading. I gave this reader a sample to read through and give me feedback. And I had to send out a reminder to ask for my work back. And when they gave me their review, it was a whole lot of praises of the book, but in the vaguest sense, like, this book was great, it was so interesting. So I knew this reader didn't actually pay attention to what they had so far. And when I called this person out on the issue, the person laughed and told me that they actually just picked up the book at the last minute and just went through it. So I had to pull out from there. If I had trusted this person to do better, I would have been left having an ugly experience with this beta reader. Luckily, I was smart enough to take my book and move on. This particular scenario is not just about the beta reading process. It's just the principle of working with someone in general. If you know you cannot respect their craft or their process and schedules, do not get involved with the person, because you're going to be hurting that person and you're going to be creating a bad name for yourself. Just don't get involved. Now, moving on to the ugly. I had someone do a sample read, and when I got the work back, all the comments in there were basically veiled insults to me as a writer, and I was baffled reading it. I mean, this, because it was sample reading and the person returned the work in the time frame given, did not affect my schedule. But I found myself talking out loud to myself as I was reading the book because I was so frustrated by the kind of attention they had paid to the book. I'm not a fan of anyone insulting me, but I would have understood to some degree if the comments left were actually useful feedback that could help my writing. But you could tell from the comments that this was someone fishing for problems, and the things pointed out were things that if I had listened to would have ruined my book. So obviously I didn't work with this person as a beta reader. Another ugly is I had these other beta readers who I was so sure this time around were the perfect fit for my book. They read the samples on time, they gave me useful reviews, both good and bad, and I was able to understand where they were coming from. I see their opinions as readers and people that understand the English language. So I was so sure that these people will work out for me. So when I did send the rest of the work to them, I was shocked to see that things weren't moving the same way as we started. I made sure I had explained to them the importance of my schedule, was sure they could work within the time frame I gave, and so many other important things I considered before beta reading. And I also sent reminders to them to let me know if there was any issue that would prevent them from completing this within the time, and I even extended the time because of this problem. But at the end of the last deadline, I had to send reminders to these readers to give me the feedback so I could start the process. They sent me messages telling me of one problem or the other they were having. Now, I completely understand when things happen to you that you don't expect, but the problems told were things that could have been told to me before that deadline. There was enough time to tell me of this information. So the result of this was that I was way behind schedule and I had to start scrambling again to find new beta readers to fill in the blank spots they had left behind. In all honesty, I was close to giving up on the whole beta reading process. But luckily, I was able to find beta readers who were willing to put in the work and give me timely, useful responses that could help my writing. You know that light bulb moment when someone says one thing and it opens your eyes to so many other things? Yes, I had that. Because of the critique from my beta readers, I was able to see so much more I could do on my book, and I was able to flesh it out and make the story way better, something I was proud of and something I was sure I could share with my future readers. And they also gave me a lot of positive feedback. So at the end of the day, the beta reading process was very useful to me, both the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that is my beta reading experience. I promised I would share it with you, and I have, and I hope that my experience will prepare you for the kinds of experiences you could go through. Some of you might be lucky to have only good things to say about your process. A lot of writers have that. But if you don't have that, just know that it happens and it's not the only scenario that you could expect. If you keep at it, you would find the perfect beta readers for your book. Now, if you're thinking about backing out of the beta reading process, don't. Consider this as training for you as a writer for when you put your book out there, because this is the time to get used to people saying negative things about your book or responding to it generally in a poor way, and you could fix that at that instance. But once you release your book, readers are going to say things about your book that you just don't understand. They're going to have negative things to say. You're going to get a lot of hate from people, and objectively your book might be fine. But the reading experience is not an objective process. It's subjective. Everyone has what they like and what they don't like. So when you get 1 star or a low rating on your book, you have to learn to take it. So use this beta experience to learn to take it. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you liked this video and it helped you even a little bit. And if you did, please subscribe and like this video. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.